Welcome to Engage New York, Module 4, Lesson 9. This is concept development. So, with this lesson, if you don't have this sheet, you want to stop the video and get out a note card or a piece of paper or something and make sure you have down these conversions, because it's really going to help you as you go through the lessons. And remember, this is lesson 9, so it's lesson 9, 10, 11, 12, and then you take the mid-module test. And FYI, the mid-module test is not going to be simple, just multiplying a fraction by a whole number. It's all application of what you have learned so far. All right, so go ahead and stop the video if you don't have this and write it on a piece of paper or a note card. That's clear. All right. I think that looks better. All right, come back and continue the video after you have this information written down somewhere that you can refer to. All right, so now, concept development, we're going to go ahead. You can actually look at your problem set page. You can actually be looking at your problem set page as we go through this as well. We're going to go through a few problems, 3 problems, and then it's that quick. And then you can we'll go over the problem set and show how you're going to apply what we just did in concept development to your problem set. Okay, here we go. So our problem that we're starting with is 1/4 of a pound is equal to how many ounces? Now, going back to what we've been learning about multiplying a fraction by a whole number. Remember, multiplying a fraction by a whole number, that is our big idea that we're working on right now. So, but my problem is, which is a larger unit? Is pounds or ounces a larger unit of measure? Well, pounds is a larger unit of measure. It's greater than ounces. Pounds is much bigger. You see those scales at the grocery store where you have to weigh things to figure out how much something costs. But ounces, you would use with maybe a little measuring cup. So pounds is a larger unit. So we are expressing a fraction. We are going to be expressing a fraction of a larger unit as a smaller unit. So we want to take the larger unit and change it into something smaller. So just think about that for a second. The idea that you're taking something that's much larger and you're trying to tell me how much it would be using much smaller unit of measure. So whenever you think about that, the larger unit is going to be a smaller number. And as you move down to the smaller unit, to ounces, your number actually is going to get greater. It's like what we were doing when we're studying the milliliters and up to liters. All right, so we're expressing a fraction. We're going to express this fraction of a pound in a smaller unit in ounces. So do you even know? So we want to find 1/4 of 1 pound. So 1/4 of 1 pound is equal to how many ounces? But that's generally how it'll look. All right, so can also write 1/4 times 1 pound. 1/4 times 1 pound. So remember what I told you. In what we've been studying the last few lessons is multiplying a fraction by a whole number. So we know that 1 pound is the same as how many ounces? Do you know how many ounces are in 1 pound? 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. So let's rename that pound in our expression as ounces. So this is how we do it. We say 1/4 times. So now do you know what? I'm going to actually write it as an equation. Okay, I'm going to write it as this. 1/4 times 1 pound becomes 1/4 times 16 ounces. So we started here and now we're moving across. So 1/4 times 1 pound is the same as, which equal sign means, the same as 1/4 times 16 ounces. How do you know this? How do you know this is true? 1/4 times 1 pound is the same as 1/4 times 16 ounces. Well, it's true because we just renamed the pound as the same amount in ounces. So 1 pound is the same as 16 ounces. Okay, so right there, this is going to be the model for how we're going to go forward on our problems. You're going to start with the problem and you're going to transform it. You're going to pull it across and create the equation, the equal equation on the other side. And then we're going to solve going down on this side. Okay. So how will we find how many ounces are in 1/4 of a pound? Well, we just find 1/4 of 16, right? So we can multiply 1/4 times 16, right? It's a fraction of a set. We're doing that in the previous lessons. We just multiply 16 by 1/4. So we can also draw a tape diagram just to make things even more fun. So right there, 4 units is equal to 16. 1 unit is equal to 4, right? So that's one way of doing it. Now, you choose your flavor. So 1/4 times 16 ounces. So we can also just cross cancel. 1/4 times 16. 4 goes into 4 one time. 4 goes into 16. 4. 1 times 4 is 4 ounces. And that's what we found down here too. Found over here as well. Okay. So this is the only way you could have solved that is knowing that there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. That's why having that resource sheet or just memorizing this is going to be so important for you. So now, so each 1/4 of a pound in our tape diagram here is equal to 4, right? Each unit is equal to 4 ounces. So if I wanted 3/4 of a pound, if I change that to 3/4 of 1 pound, it would be 3/4 times 16 ounces, right? And then 4 goes into 4, 4 goes into 16. That would give you 12 ounces. You see how I did that? All right, moving on, problem 2. 3/4 of a foot. So we're taking a larger unit and expressing it in a smaller unit. Okay. So here we go. How many? Oh, there's 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. So like I showed you before, you're going to go 3/4 of a foot, right, times inches, right, is going to give you 3/4 times 12 inches. So we're moving across. We're taking what we know and we're changing it. We're making it 3/4 of a pound, right? I mean, 3/4 of a foot. So 3/4 times 12 inches. So I don't like the way I did this. I'm going to write 12 inches over here. Or do you know what I want to do? I think I want to write it like this. 3/4 of 1 foot is equal to 3/4 times 12 inches. I like that better. Because I want to make sure I'm trying to be as consistent as possible. So 3/4 of 1 foot is equal to 3/4 of 12 inches. So here we go. 3/4 times 12 inches. 4 goes into 4 one time. 4 goes into 12 three times. 3 times 3 is 9 inches. So if you took and you made a tape diagram and you broke it up into 4 equal pieces, and this was 12 or 1 foot, and you had 3/4 of it. So if you went 4 units is equal to 12. 1 unit is equal to 3. So 3, 3, 3, 3. And if I had 3/4 of it, it'd be 3 times 3 equals 9. 9 inches. Does that make sense for you? All right. Last problem for our concept development. So we're using what we've already learned and we're applying it to fractions of measurements. Okay, so we're only taking what we already know and moving it to a fraction of a measurement. And the measurement is a whole number. All right, Mr. Corsetti spends 2/3 of every year in Florida. How many months does he spend in Florida each year? So what do you know? You know that we're talking about a part of a year. So 2/3 of a year, right, is equal to so many months, right? So 2/3 of a year is equal to how many months? So if we write this, 2/3 times 1 year is equal to, now, big question, how many months are in a year? I really hope you just said 12. Okay, so now we're going to translate this over. We're going to move this and we're going to change that 1 year. So 2/3 times 12. So it's going to give us how many months? So 3 goes into 3 months. 3 goes into 12, 4. 2 times 4 is 8 months. Now let's look over here. Let's use this area right here. Okay. We know that's 12 months, right? And we're breaking it into thirds, right? And we want to know how much is in 2/3 of the year. All right, so if we went 3 units equals 12, 1 unit equals 4. So this would be 4, this would be 4, this would be 4. So 4 times 2 equals 8 months. So do you see how you can do it 2 ways? If you need to see a picture, if you need to work that out, that's perfectly fine. If just taking the equation and moving it over and transforming that mystery number into the correct smaller units right here, that's the way to do it. All right, that's going to do it for concept development for module 4, lesson 9. Meet me back here. So what you're going to do next is you're going to start problem set. And your problem set, it says, show your work using a tape diagram or an equation. The first one is done for you. So this one right here, 1 yard, 2 feet. 1 yard, 2 feet. So 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. And it's broken in half. So that's what we're solving for. So 1 yard, and then we transform it, right? We transform this over. 1 yard is equal to 1/2 times 1 yard. That's what I was doing on this side. So I was doing 1/2 times 1 yard. And then we transform it to 1/2 times 3 feet, because we know there are 3 feet in 1 yard, and we want feet. So then we multiply, it's 3 halves. 3 halves is 1.5 feet. So 1.5 feet, 1.5 feet, 1.5, and 1.5 is 3. Here's another way of looking at it, 2 units, because I got that from the half. Cancel that out, 3 halves, 1.5 feet. All right, so your job is to go through the rest of these 5 problems. So feet to inches. So we know that there's, for 1 foot, there are 12 inches, right? For 1 meter, do you know how many centimeters there are? There are 100 centimeters. Can't see my 1 very well. In a year, how many months? So 1 year is equal to 12 months. And then 1 hour is equal to what? 60 minutes. And then 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. Okay, so it's equal to 3 feet, which is equal to how many inches? There's 36 inches. So you're going from yards past feet all the way to inches. Keep that in mind. Then we have Mrs. Lang told her class that the class's pet hamster is 1/4 or 1/4 foot in length. How long is a hamster in inches? At the market, Mr. Paul bought 7/8 of the cashews and 3/4 of walnuts. So how many ounces of cashews? How many ounces of walnuts? So I want you to think back to that problem of the museum where you're trying to answer the correct. You're answering the correct question. So remember, you're taking 7/8 of cashews, and so there's different fraction of these units. Then how many more ounces of cashews? That sounds like a subtraction problem to me. If Mrs. Tums bought 1.5 pounds of pistachios, who bought more nuts, Mr. Paula or Mrs. Tums? How many ounces more? Sounds like there's multiple problems right here. Steps. A jewelry maker purchased 20 inches of gold chain. She used 3/8 of the chain for a bracelet. How many inches of gold chain did she have left over? All right, I think this is very doable based on what we've practiced. So what you are to do right now is you're going to go through, complete the problem set, come back and check part 3 of this lesson for the debrief. All right, good luck, and I'm sure you do very well.